who are the current top movers up my rankings right before training camp begins. I'm going to drop them for you here in this video. I am Eric Vanek of South Harmon, and I am the host of America's Game podcast that's on the South Harmon Fantasy Podcast Network. Find me there, and you can find me on X at Eric Vanek NFL. But today, I want to give you my top guys that are moving up my ranks currently right before training camp begins. So the first one is actually a trio of guys on the same team, and that's Devon Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle. So with Achane, he's currently goes probably like around the 1-2 turns, middle of the second round is probably his latest. But I think he could easily be a first round guy now after this big trade of Jonnu Smith. I think it kind of condenses the offense down a little bit to Achane, Hill, Waddle. I'm sure we're going to get a little Darren Waller, but how good is Darren Waller going to be? That's the big question mark. But I think Achane, Tyreek Hill, and Jalen Waddle, all three of these guys should definitely move up in our ranks right now. So Achane, I'm definitely comfortable taking him at like the 111, 112 range as his earliest spot. But if you can get him at that turn, that's going to be really big this year. I think with Miami, they improved their guards situation this year. They want to get back to their inside zone, inside gap kind of runs, and A-Chain's going to be set up really, really nice for that this year. I think getting that mixed with his PPR upside, that is going to be big for A-Chain this year. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, both same kind of thing, man. This team is not going to be very good this year. If you look at their defensive depth chart, I think their pass rushers are pretty decent, but their secondary, it's a bunch of guys you've never even heard of. So I think they're going to have to be in a lot of shootout type games this year, a lot of high scoring games, and Tyreek Hill and Waddle are going to have to be the benefactors of that. Tua, as long as he's healthy, thank goodness, he should be able to get the ball to Tyreek Hill, get the ball to Jalen Waddle, and these guys should both eat. Tyreek Hill, last year wasn't that great coming off the wrist injury. I think there's a little bit of risk there, but, on a little bit of a discount, this guy was going sometimes number one overall last season. I know I personally took him number one overall in a couple leagues last year. So with Tyreek Hill, I think you're getting like almost a 3-4 round discount on him. He goes in like round 4. I think if you can get Tyreek Hill, and he could definitely hit over that for sure and get you to like second round value this year, I think. So I really like Tyreek Hill. And then Jalen Waddle, same thing. In a couple FFPC drafts, I've gotten him in the 8th round. Like, that is crazy for me for Jalen Waddle, and I think he should have a big year. He's a former 100 catch guy from his first year there with Miami. Definitely not very efficient, but it was still 100 catches, and I think he could still have 80, 90 catches for us in this offense with the amount of times they're going to have to probably throw the ball a little bit. So I really like Jalen Waddle too. If he was going in 8th round, I think he should go up a little bit higher. He should go kind of with the Jerry Judys of the world, Chris Olave's, around that range. I think Jalen Waddle should maybe go up above those guys a little bit, maybe even closer to Tyreek Hill and the Mike Evans, those types of players. Next guy up is Mike Evans, actually. So Mike Evans, I like him a little bit more. I want to move him up just a little bit because I think Chris Godwin is going to miss maybe the first, little bit of training camp here and be a slow ramp up here with his injury. Their Bucks are being very vague right now about who or if Godwin's even practicing and doing all that. So I think Evans is going to be relied on quite a bit early on this year from Baker Mayfield, and I think Evans could have a big first monster month for us. And he's going to be consistent once everybody gets rolling too. But I think Evans is set up for a really good season again. He should be somebody that you're taking as your wide receiver 2 or 3. If you get him in that spot, I think he can smash for us again this year. Next guy up I want to talk about was Jayden Higgins, the rookie. I think he is a little bit undervalued right now. He's another guy who goes in like round 8, round 9 or so in FFPC drafts currently. I think Jayden Higgins could outperform that. That could be a guy that we're taking in round 5 or 6 next year just based off of what he does his first year. There's really nobody else outside of Nico Collins in this offense. I think Christian Kirk's okay, but I think Jayden Higgins is a better player than Christian Kirk. I think if he gets going really well, his OTAs were outstanding. They talked really highly of him already. I think Jayden Higgins is somebody that maybe we're undervaluing just a little bit right now, and somebody I want to move up my rankings. Next guy up, Travis Etienne, the running back from Jacksonville, and we've already kind of seen his ADP flip over Bashal Tutin, just because it looks like Etienne is going to be the guy. It looks like Tutin might take a little bit of time to get going here, learn the offense, learn how to pass block a little bit better, work on his fumbling issues. He's going to be somebody, I think, maybe towards the end of the season he gets a little bit better, but I think early on it's going to be Etienne. And you look at what Liam Cohen did with his running backs in Tampa Bay last year, with Bucky Irving and Rashad White, Sean Tucker. I think he's got a similar skill set here with the 3 running backs he has in Jacksonville, and I think Etienne could do really, really good here early on. I think they want to run the ball. You saw what Cohen did with the Tampa Bay offense. They like to run the ball too, and I think Etienne is going to be somebody that was a little undervalued right now. You can almost get him in round 9, usually like round 8 is where he was going. I would be okay taking him in round 7, and above these like Tony Pollard types, Isaiah Pacheco types. He should be up a little bit more than that for me, and so that's why I really like Travis Etienne, and he has moved up for me. Next one is another duo from the same team, Josh Downs and Michael Pittman. With Daniel Jones probably starting the year and probably going to start pretty much a large portion of the year, I would imagine, as long as he's good. He's more consistent than Anthony Richardson, so that kind of makes me like Josh Downs and Michael Pittman just a little bit more to where they're currently going. I've gotten Downs in like round 9, 10, Pittman in like 11, 12. I think these guys should definitely move up a couple rounds here. I think Josh Downs is somebody you can consider, after like the Jerry Judys and the Jawan Jennings, Ricky Pearsall types have gone. I think Josh Downs should be right up there with those guys. And Pittman, he should probably go around where JAYDEN Higgins is going. So I like both of those guys quite a bit. Both should be guys that are moving up your rankings right now. And if you're getting the discount on them right now, just take it to the bank, man, because those guys could easily be really good. Downs last year, if you look at his EPA and yards per route run and all that stuff, Josh Downs was right up there with Malik Neighbors on a lot of stuff. So I think Josh Downs is definitely somebody that's underrated. And I know a lot of the fantasy community is coming around on him. Now, me, I got to give you guys some that are moving down as well. So 2 guys that have moved down for me, Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth. Obviously, both got traded, Jonnu Smith got traded to Pittsburgh, and they're going to be teammates now. Now, with Jonnu, I moved him down a little bit, probably like the back-end starter range for me. I just think we've seen it with Arthur Smith before. He's been the guy. He's the main man here. He took over for Kyle Pitts. He played better than Kyle Pitts did and had better stats than Kyle Pitts. Tennessee, he was the guy there too. Obviously, New England was a whole different story, a different coach. Arthur Smith wasn't there. But under Arthur Smith, Jonnu has always been the leading tight end for receptions, yards, and the guy that they focus on. So I like Jonnu over Freiermuth. Freiermuth is kind of somebody that I don't even really want in redraft fantasy football this year, to be honest with you. I'll let somebody else pick him or just leave him on the waiver wire. But if I had to pick one, it's going to be Jonnu, and he's more of a tight end 2 for me, just because I still think Freiermuth is going to get used, but he's kind of like the new Cole Kmet now. He's going to kind of be a back burner type player. And then the last one is somebody I mentioned earlier, and that's Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin should probably drop down a little bit, especially coming back from this injury, not really practicing yet. I think they're going to slow roll it with him. They have Jalen McMillan. They did draft Emeka Ibuka. Obviously still have Mike Evans. Those guys are going to probably get majority of the snaps early on, while Godwin just comes back slowly, which is totally fine. I think Godwin should take his time back and make sure he's healthy for the stretch run and the playoff run for Tampa Bay that they hope to be on this year. So I think Chris Godwin may be a little bit overhyped. I'd rather have the Judys, the Olaves of the world over Chris Godwin right now. So that's where I think Godwin should be, probably a little bit after those guys. But thank you guys for checking this video out. Hopefully you guys are able to get some of these top movers for me on your teams. And I think these are going to be guys that just keep moving up throughout the summer here, right before the training camp here starts, which is only a couple weeks away. I mean, it's July 9th right now, and July 31st, we have the Hall of Fame game. So we are in the month where football is going to be played, guys. So it's going to be sweet. Hopefully you guys like this video. Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button. We would really appreciate it. And we will see you guys next time.